And so we welcome you to the men's Invitational at the 29th Carlsbad 5000. 19 runners on the line. 18 runners on the line. We had Will Lear was a scratch a couple of days ago.
We actually lost one more this morning. Zach Mayhew, he was debuting here. Unfortunately, had a bit of a problem with his IT band, so I know he's upset he's not going to make it, but everyone else is raring to go.
1 minute to the gun. Once again, 16 degrees Celsius, 61 degrees Fahrenheit here in Carlsbad. Pretty ideal conditions, but we did see that stiff head breeze off the sea on the second mile on Carlsbad Boulevard. And a very thin but very strong lineup.
And then the horn, we go on the horn. We have our clearance. Runners to your mark.
And we are away. And this should be interesting. And already our three-time defending champion, Tijen Gebremeskel, has gone to the front, now eased it back just a little bit as they start here on Grand Avenue and go up about, 600 meters before they take the turn on the Carlsbad Boulevard. Augustine Chogi from Kenya, the big four, Bernard Lagat, Tariko Bekele. And we were reminded earlier on, Matthew, once again, Tony Revis joined by Matt Turnbull, the elite athlete coordinator. Matt, we were reminded that Bernard Lagat is dedicating this race to Howard Schmertz, the great impresario for so many years at the Millrose Games. Kip, of course, an 8-time champion at the Wanamaker Mile, and Howard gave him a chance when he was a young man, and he wants to dedicate this race to him, giving him even more motivation to go for that U.S. record and the win.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Bernard saw him at this recent edition at Millrose, and that was obviously the last time he saw him. And I know Bernard was very emotional when he heard the news earlier this week about the sad passing. And it's great motivation for him to come and break this 18-year-old record. And it's interesting to see that the big four right to the front. And I know Gebremeskel feels at home here. And it's unusual to see him take it out so early, but maybe that's the plan, take it out early and sit in for the second half.
Well, very close in on the press truck we come. Tijen Gebremeskel, Augustine Chogi on the left of the screen, Edwin Kipyego, Heron Lagat, no relation. And in the skull cap, Mohamed Fadil of Morocco. I'm not sure it's a day for a skull cap, but there you have it.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Maybe it's one of his trademarks, but it's certainly not Chile. But yeah, everyone's looking smooth up front at the moment. I'm interested to see how Tariko Bekele goes. Obviously, he hasn't really competed much over the last few months. He's staying out in Michigan at the moment training, so this is his season opener. We'll see how he goes.
Yes, from our understanding, a little bit of an Achilles problem. Has not raced since the Great North Run last fall. That's a long layoff, especially when you've got three men who were just in the World Indoor 3,000-meter final, sharp as a tack.
Yeah, absolutely. Chogi and Dejan both look good. Tariko Bekele sitting in there, as you'd expect. Kip just doing the sensible things and just looks as though he's racing his own race. Very, very, very focused right now.
Well, Tijen Gebremeskel and Bernard Lagat have met 8 times in their career in finals, whether Olympic or World Championships or Diamond League. In those 8 races, Lagat holds a 6-2 advantage, but every one of those times, the difference has been 1 second, 1/10 of a second, 17/100ths of a second. I mean, they are a hair's breadth apart, but Bernard seems to have his number. But maybe the question is, does the experience on the Carlsbad course count for anything?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, I've spent quite a bit of time with the two of them over this last few days, and they seem good friends off the track. They have obviously a very healthy respect, and asking if Tijen's going to help Bernard get to this record, I said, well, who knows? I mean, I think it'll be won in maybe 13-18, 13-19. And yeah, who knows whether it's going to be Bernard or Dejan breaking the tape, but it's going to be a fascinating race.
Tijen has been here 4 times. He finished second in his first year, then has run off 3 straight titles. He's run 13:11 on 2 of those occasions. Last year he ran 13:20, winning by 6 seconds. But again, it was a day very similar to today where there was that breeze in that second mile. We are now coming up on the 1 mile mark. 4 minutes and 11 seconds and counting. And 4:13 for the mile,
Pick it up.
which is pretty standard issue here as we look at our split history. Back in the early 90s, William Mootwell went out in 4:08 on his way to a 13:12 title. And you could tell the difference because in 2012, 20 years later, Dejan Gebremeskel went out in 4:12 and finished up with 13:11. So there's just different ways of tacking this course. You know, famously, Sammy Kipketer from Kenya in 2000 and 2001 went through the mile in under 4 minutes and ran 13 minutes flat at the finish. That's the still standing world record. No one's come within 11 seconds of it, or 11 seconds is the closest they've come. Now that's a record.
Absolutely, and when I tell people those splits, the likes of Gebremeskel, and I know Kipchoge's come here a couple of times, Elliot, who's now obviously moved up to the marathon, and told them what those splits were. They were, you know, that's just crazy. And you're right, tactics have changed now. People do go out a little bit more conservatively, sorry. But it's interesting, Gebremeskel, 2 of his last 3 victories have come in 13:11. So he knows what sort of pace he's after, what sort of pace he wants, and he's running pretty much to his game plan right now. Here's the first turn.
At 5:29, and Chogi takes the turn. Chogi in front. Now he has real motivation too, Matt, because he was at the World Indoor Championships in Poland in the 3,000 meters along with Dejan and Kip. But he got caught out when the move was made by Caleb Ndigu. He went from about 4 laps out, and it caught Augustine a little bit by surprise, and he only finished up in 9th place. And he was disappointed with this mental error. So I think he wants to look at Carlsbad as a minor redemption.
I think so, and he's a world-class runner. He's got the medals to prove it. This is the first time he's been over here in Carlsbad. He looks very, very smooth right now. He comes from the same training stable, if you like, or certainly management stable as Bernard. So Bernard and Augustine are very close off the field, if you like. So it'll be interesting to see if those two can work together. But it's interesting as well that nobody's really sheltering from the wind. They're all kind of in a bit of a line. If anyone's doing it smart, you'd probably say it's Bernard. Maybe Dejan taking a little bit of that breeze off him.
We want to also mention Edwin Kipyego on the left. This is the shortest race he's run by 5 kilometers. He's never run anything shorter than a 10K. He's a 60-minute flat half marathoner training for the Hamburg Marathon May 4th. So you would think this sort of pace, you know, in the 240, 238 per kilometer range would be a little swift for him, but he looks very nice on the outside of this pack. Heron Lagat has been 7 times in the top 10. He's the tall runner in that pack. And Diego Estrada from Mexico is also in the back of this. He's run 13:15 on the track, a Northern Arizona grad, 3rd in the 2013 NCAA University 5,000. So he looks very good as well. I don't think anyone up there so far looks like they're laboring.
No, the whole pack looks really good. Everyone looks smooth. Everyone looks certainly comfortable. And as you mentioned, Edwin Kipyego is coming way down on distance. And speaking to him just beforehand, he's delighted to be here. And he said, if I break 13:30, I'm going to be the happiest man in the world.
Well, here we are in the flat stretch, heading toward the 3K mark. And then up ahead will be the 2-mile mark. And it's always around this point at Carlsbad where somebody throws down the gauntlet and decides to make a race of it. Not wanting it to come down to the second 180-degree turn, fearing of the kick. We saw this in one of the Masters competition in the men's side, where there was a move just before the 2-mile mark. There's a little rise in the course between 3K and 2 miles. And that's a good place to shift gears. We're coming up on Pine Avenue right now, the Offshore Surf Club. And this is where there's just a very small little rise on this course.
Yeah, this is pretty much the spot where the women's separation happened. And we're kind of seeing it again now. Julia and Betsy kind of pulled away at this point. And if we're looking at it now, it looks like Augustine Chogi's certainly putting the hammer down. Bernard's tucked in right behind him, and as you'd expect, Dejan Gebremeskel there as well. Maybe the surprise is Edwin Kipyego. As we said before, it's a step down, but he looks good, looks comfortable. But I think the race is just starting to start now.
And now the crowds start to really pick up and boost these runners. We're down to 4, shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. From the outside, it's Kipyego, Lagat, Chogi, and Dejan Gebremeskel. Chogi's been pushing it, looks very strong. Edwin Kipyego surprisingly grinding it out, heading big marathon training, and look at him go. Dejan's head's rolling just a little bit. Kip Lagat, a lot of motivation here, looking for that American record, sub 13:24, dedicating the race to their great friend Howard Schmertz. Chogi looking for redemption from the World Indoors. There's something on the line for every one of these athletes besides the $50,000 in prize money.
No, it's interesting. It's going to be a great race. It really is shaping up to be a fantastic last couple of kilometers here. And it's interesting that the only 4 guys who came and trained on the course this week are the 4 we've got up front.
And 3 of the 4 were in Sopot, Poland at the World Indoor Championships several weeks ago. You know they're fit. You know they're ready. They know one another. Chogi and Lagat are good friends. They've met each other 18 times over their career. Lagat has a 13.5 advantage over Chogi. He's got a 6.2 advantage over Dejan. So on paper, Kip Lagat is your man as of this standing. But that's why we run the race and don't give it out on paper.
That's exactly correct, and they're starting to have a little look around each other now and trying to work out who's feeling good, who might be laboring. But out of this 4, there's not one of them laboring. It's going to be a great contest. Obviously, Dejan has been in this situation so many times before, and as we speak, he's just put the hammer down a little bit. He's just pulling away. It looks as though we're going to lose Kipyego here.
Yeah, that's what we expected. Whoever is going to be the first to move is going to lose Kipyego, and it's going to be the 3 World Indoor Championship finalists, 2 of the medalists. Here's the 180, just turning 11 minutes on the clock, so we just got over 2 minutes of running left. And now the wind turns to their back again. Augustin Chogi. He's got a best of 12:52 on the track. He was the Commonwealth Games 5,000 meter champion in 06, the former World Junior 5,000 meter champion, the bronze medalist in 2012 indoors to Lagat's gold medal. Now Kipyego's trying to hold tough. Now Dejan really starting to push just a little bit. Chogi, a very smooth man. A lot of very smooth out there, all 3 of these men.
Yeah, and speaking to Dejan before, he knows what's on the line. He knows no one's won this race 4 times. He really does feel at home here. He loves the course, loves the race, and he's determined to kind of spoil the US part, if you like, and take his 4th win.
11:45 on the clock, and now Chogi starting to suffer the effects of the Dejan Gebremeskel big effort. Kip Lagat takes a look over his shoulder. There's a look of concern on his face. Dejan really hammering hard, and he's got some distance. He knows he can't let it come down to the final 300 meters. When he's lost to Lagat, it's been by a hair's breadth. He can't let him be close, and he's not letting him close. He's putting everything into this final block on Carlsbad Boulevard before the turn on the Carlsbad Village Drive. He can do this final stretch in his sleep. But the question is, would there be a nightmare? And right now, it looks like the ghosts have been put away.
Yeah, that's it. He knows exactly what Lagat can do over the last couple of 100 meters, so he's gone early. He knows how to win this race, and he's made his move, and it's looking decisive right now.
300 meters to go. History on the line. Dejan Gebremeskel. What a record at Carlsbad. 12:48 at 3 miles.
Again, the American record was pretty good.
The American record looks like it's going to go down as well. But Dejan Gebremeskel with 100 meters remaining. There goes the world record time. But it's going to be the fastest time that he's ever run, right on it. 13:12. And here's Lagat. Bernard Lagat, a new American record at 13:18. Augustin Chogi.
The Olympic bronze medalist. Fadil. Mohammed Fadil from Albuquerque.
Stephen Piper, his wife won the thing. Bobby Curtis, NCAA champion from Villanova. Ben Brooks, recently ran his first marathon. Deshaun Turner, member of our World Championship team. Treasure Lagasse, 357 miler from Oklahoma. Ladies and gentlemen,